Pretty and grimy. Yo.
Yo.
Okay.
Guess I got a very intimidating demeanor.
Yeah, you do, man. You mad.
Or aura, and it's not even.
You mad intimidating, brother. And
not,
I guess let this be like the first podcast too. This the first podcast. So be loose and be free. You feel me? This is the we haven't got a name. This podcast will be named later, but this is episode 1, where we're gonna look at news stories, we're gonna look at events, we're gonna look at, love and hip hop and everything in the world and put some spin to it. We're gonna look at all the latest stories that have been in the news. If you haven't been keeping up to date, that's fine, because we're not going to talk about the actual events because we're not trying to get the channel flagged. However, we will use Gematria to speak around these events and give a more spiritual slant. We're going to talk about different things. We're going to do a lot of different things, but this is just episode 1, and we're just going to catch a vibe. But before we catch a vibe and talk about all of this, I got to clear the air. Dark Serpent, you scare me. I don't know what you own. You out here smoking cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? You seem to be walking on the wild side. You be having dudes moving in and out, in front of you. I don't know if they moving furniture, refrigerators. I don't know what's going on, Dark Serpent. Can you bring some light to the mission, to the message, who you are and, what you want to let us know about you? And once again, speak from the heart.
I'm sorry. I am the Dark Serpent. I do apologize. Best way to describe me is I'm an individual that just wants you to think for yourself. I'm an individual who only wants you to have your own faculties that are at play whenever you go through this thing we call life. The Sacred Serpent, which is my company, and the Dark Serpent is king to me. A spirit animal, if I had one, would be a snake. The snake is always around. It doesn't go anywhere. It has all the information. It's been through all the battles, and it's still there. And the Sacred Serpent, that Kundalini fire, which is also that divine feminine spark.
You talking on a Bluetooth right now? Because you usually come through crystal clear. It's like a little shaky. It could be clear.
All right. It's on the Bluetooth, so if maybe you could turn it up a little bit more on your side, because my side is all the way up, I believe. Or maybe I just need to speak louder. Is that better?
Put your chest in it.
So, where was I at? You got me off. Where was I at?
You was at the Sacred Serpent. That was a very important part. So you're gonna have to put some. Okay. Now I heard you say where I was at clearly, so you can speak with that same energy the whole entire time. That'd be awesome. Because we here for the people. So the people want to hear that energy. We want to hear that. We want to hear that Dark Serpent. So don't try to be calm and cool and collective now. Just speak from the heart. Be affirmative, my brother.
I really don't even like your attitude right now. So,
am I pissing you off? Am I pissing you off right now?
I got you.
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm. Now I can hear you. I can hear you now. All of a sudden, I can hear you. I can hear you all of a sudden.
Oh, I got you. Have all your faculties at play. Both sides, all sides. Sacred Serpent. That Kundalini fire that comes from that divine feminine spark. I am about the divine feminine because I recognize that is the part that has been diminished and repressed and ignored for so fucking long. I am the Dark Serpent because I am not here to be a friend based on feeling. I am the Dark Serpent because I am not here to be an agreeable individual who fits in some box based on some lazy ass fucking labels that you create. I exist outside of the people who get to tell you who and what you are based on programming, the matrix, etc., etc., etc. I may be intimidating because I don't fit. I am a fucking weirdo. I am always by myself. I am a fucking empath. I am a father of 3. I was there for my kids' lives for 80 to 90% of their existence on this earth. Now I just pay child support and I do my thing. This is something that is near and dear to me, the sacred serpent, because I want you to know about the things that people won't tell you, even though they ask you for fucking money. I want you to know about the individuals that have no practical application they want you to implement, but they want you to watch a 6-hour fucking lecture while they droll over themselves.
Not drool.
I am that person. Yeah, drool. Like
drool,
I am that person.
like slobber.
Yeah, like real, like really slobber. You know what I'm saying? So I am not here to upset the apple cart. I'm here to break that shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't fall in line. I self-sabotage. If I don't like it, I don't like it. My spirit said quit work, I quit work. Like literally, I quit work. Like it doesn't work like that for me. So whenever we get to that point, something has to be there to give you the other side. And basically the Dark Serpent is the other side. No disrespect. Is that enough?
That's cool, man. I appreciate you, putting your chest in it and being really clear on why you here and why it might be a little bit disconcerting to the average person is because there is no labels, there is no right or wrong in this thing we call consciousness. So if you want to spark up a Newport, that's your actual way of defining or redefining the boxes that people put you in. And the reason why I muted you is because it's some background music. It's kind of loud too. Maybe you have some videos on, and it's real important, bro, that you continue with that same energy and speak from your heart and be the person that is not agreeable to ask the hard questions, to deal with your authenticity in a space, in a society where this world don't allow you to be authentic. It's frustrating for me, but it's freeing for me and beautiful for me to see you kind of be in that space where you can be authentically you. And I'm just here for that. So continue with anything that you would like to continue with, my brother.
Thank you. Like I said, I am here in service to you first and foremost. You are my inspiration to this and for this. You were what I would call you are what I would call my exclamation point. You know how I'm going to start that business. I'm going to do that thing, that dream thing, and I came upon you, and you were my confirmation. So this is all because of you. You give me my inspiration to speak my truth to power. I am not going to let anything ever come in between that. And being the sacred serpent, the dark serpent, like I am just going to challenge everything that you say because I love you. So that's what it is.
All right. So starting there, we're gonna share the screen, and I'm gonna get my broker account off the screen.
Oh, can I see?
No, no, no.
Yo,
Almost got me.
Yo, let me see that. You savage for
Uh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, you see a nigga sitting back there with 7 zeros. You're like, hold up, nigga.
So we did some research on some terms that's been in the news, and we did some geometrical correspondences. And instead of dealing with the actual news story, we're going to center completely on the spiritual correspondences that equate to the same numbers. Okay. And whether you add them up or, you work it out, like, so it's working in pairs. So all of my students, all of my alchemic academic students know that everything works in pairs. All of my people who follow the truth is stranger than fiction also know that twin energies is how this thing is kicked off. So scapegoating is, I'll give you a false narrative to hide the real narrative. And in our
Hold up,
research,
hold up, hold
mhm.
up, hold up. Sorry, not to cut you off.
You
Not
did
to
mean
cut
to cut me off, but go ahead. You
I'm
meant to
sorry.
cut me off like a
I did,
motherfucker.
I did, I
You
did, I
meant
did,
to
I
cut
did.
me off, but go
Because
ahead.
you said twin energy, right?
Yes.
Don't Will Smith got a movie named Gemini Man?
Yeah, but that was for the next episode, fam. Like you,
Oh,
we
I
working
cut
on
in front
that.
of that one. I
We're
cut in front of that one.
formulating that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I wanted that car to go off the road, nigga. Go ahead.
We working on that. So after my train of thought was completely derailed, twin energy. Okay, twin energy, and instead of dealing with the scapegoat, we're going to deal with the actual factual. And so my overall premise is that whatever they're talking about is not the real thing. The real thing that they're talking about is that there's a spiritual revolution taking over, a spiritual awakening that's taking place, and that's what I think is really happening. So we're gonna ask these questions and connect all of these weird words and bring light to it. Whenever I say some shit, hopefully Dark Serpent challenge me on everything I say and call me for my bullshit, call me for my ignorance and all of that. And that's what I'm hoping. If he agree with me, I'm gonna just cut off this fucking live. So that's just how we rocking today.
Wow. You just really gonna make me pay for all of this internet connection? You just gonna cut me off? Disrespectful.
All of
All
your
right.
investment in your brand and all of that.
Yeah. That shit ain't shit. All right.
The only thing, just don't agree with me. I don't want that.
Okay. So you ready? Or you want me to go first?
I will. Yeah. What? Yeah. You go. You kick it off. Whatever I
All right.
just said, and you just bounce off of that.
All right. Bible thumpers might be thinking Revelations as it has been very biblical of late. How would you
Mhm.
feel about
I think one of my favorite books of all time is The Revelations of Saint John by Zachary Lansdowne. It's a Bobby Hemmett referral, but I really took to that book. And in that book, it's a psychological breakdown to every single verse in Revelation. And every psychological verse has footnotes. So I've read that book back and forth, researched every single footnote. I really understand what revelations mean at a psychological level based on that book as my source. And so revelations to me is understanding your life at the chakras, because in Revelations they reference the 7 cities. So the only city that exists in real life is the city of Philadelphia. So Philadelphia, you can Google, you can crack open your Bibles right now and look at the 7 cities that take place in Revelations. Then we have, Philadelphia be the center. So in every point, everybody hopefully got their notebooks. They can keep track of how many it's like, where in the world is Carmen San Diego, or where is Waldo? We're gonna do where's Will. So Revelations, the only real city is Philadelphia, but those cities are not actually cities, they're chakras. Okay. And what we're referencing is states, okay, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but also states of mind. So if y'all watch my channel, I deal a lot with psychological development. I deal a lot with psychological projection. And so what you'll notice is that if you actually do the work, actually clear the chakras, actually kind of like center yourself in a level of understanding what revelations are, then you're able to really navigate this actual matrix. So for me, revelations is a spiritual awakening, and that's what has been actually happening. And so we can kind of see that in the actual modality of the news, and then look at the geometrical correspondences. So do we have revelations on here anywhere? Okay, revelation. So with the Wayfair situation, with the Pizzagate situation, with all of these types of situations, they're utilizing the modality of referencing like child trafficking. Now that may be true. However, I'm looking at it from a perspective that even if that is true, it's a deeper message, it's a deeper code, because at a certain point, people was talking about these particular conspiracies 5 and 6 years ago, and the news wouldn't dare mention the reality of these realities. However, the underground or the 4chan sites and the message boards was really referencing a spiritual awakening when you reference Keck and Trump and all of these particular Egyptian mythologies and things of that nature. What we're talking about is a spiritual awakening. So when you watch the news and you think that what they're showing you is the actual truth, like you actually getting somewhere, they're throwing you off the scent yet again. Because think about the news stories 6 years ago and the movement, and now there's like not a particular thing that they even caring about. So go ahead. Do that make sense, or do
No,
revelations
no,
still
no, no, no,
abstract?
no. It makes sense, but I'm just going to tie on to that, if I may.
Go ahead.
Uh, my tie on to that would be just to simplify just a little bit and say that that revelation would be these are things that have been going on for a very long time, and now they are making it allowable for you to know this information.
Mm-hmm.
Revelation. Okay.
Yeah.
Another tie-in correlation. The revelation would be you connecting to your root chakra to
Mm-hmm.
begin the process of reactivating your chakra system in order for you to understand who and what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah. That's perfect. It's so simple and sublime, but you gonna think that it's about getting dressed up for somebody's dinner, setting up your party perfectly, making sure your marriage goes off without a problem, making sure that the party is, jamming, make sure you got the DJ, make sure you order the cake, all of this mundane BS. And what's really happening is a spiritual awakening is happening. So I'm naturally irritated and perturbed by the mundane. And the reason why is because this energy is so serious, right? The news is clearly serious about something. Whether you want to believe Corona is a hoax, whether you want to believe, Black Lives Matter is a hoax, and all of these particular things, what they're indicating is that there is a level of seriousness that's going on with this energy. And my take on it is much different. My take on it is not surface. My take on it is very subconscious. And the subconscious in me is telling me that a spiritual awakening is taking place. And so in the different details, we can kind of talk through it and then really get some understanding of how it's taking place, as opposed to me just saying the spiritual awakening is taking place.
I can dig it. I can dig it. I just wanted the people to understand that these revelations are not just things that are happening outside of them. They are things that are particularly going on right now in 2020, the revelation year,
Mm-hmm.
inside of it. That's
Mm-hmm.
all. Carry on, Manju.
No, that's good. What was the next? I ain't got nothing
I'll
else to
pull it.
say on that.
I'll pull it. No, no, no. I was pulling it up. What in the fuck is the age of Aquarius? Have you ever heard of Lake Hyrule?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the next two. Those are the
The
next two.
next two, the next two. I've never heard of Lake Pyru until this particular situation, but I had did my research, and so that actual lake is a result of native removal of melanated energy. and they created a whole city, a whole lake, a whole, civilization on top of these particular ancient sites. And so what we have is significations of the ancient rising of primordial energy, because we know that the melanated being cannot die, it can only go home. And once it goes home, is actually free. Then we understand the process of transformation. So when our brothers and sisters transition, we don't mourn. We just understand the particular connections, at least from my perspective. So Lake Pyru, it would be the same energy as Nipsey Hussle. It would be the same energy as Pop Smoke. And let's not forget that Pop Smoke and Juice World just released albums on the same day, on a Friday. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that these are references of deities that live on past the date of their death. For the average human being, if they pass away, unless they've created a art, unless they've created a CD or painted a picture or wrote a book, there is no, that's it for them. But for these artists, they've actually created a Messiah-like particular energy to attach to it. And what that actually does is allow, people to kind of continue to stay in the Piscean age. So it started with Tupac, right? Tupac was, what was he? He was with Suge Knight. What set did Suge Knight rep? Suge Knight rep the Pyru Bloods. That could be a coincidence to everything that I'm saying, or it could be an exact alignment. Okay, you get me? So the
Oh, I
reality,
dig you.
right. So Tupac passed away, but he continued to speak through his music once he passed away. So in its very simplest term, that's literally biblical. That's literally revelationatory. That's literally making him a messiah. You know, uh, Big, life after death. Messiah like
That's
energy.
literally that's literally Kobe Bryant. Like,
To a greater more esoteric degree. And let's do another pencil in for Philadelphia, since you just going to just add stuff to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's two for Kobe.
that
That's
was
two for Will.
inadvertent.
That's
That
two
was
for Will.
inadvertent.
It's
I
a
didn't
bunch of it's
see.
a bunch of inadvertency. We could talk about Philadelphia all day, all night. So it don't matter.
Okay, okay. Don't fucking
We're
challenge
going to
me.
continuously talk about Philadelphia because we
You ain't gonna you
referencing
ain't gonna
we
keep you ain't
referencing
gonna keep challenge you ain't
Revelation.
gonna keep challenging me. You ain't gonna keep challenging me on live TV. You ain't gonna keep challenging me on live TV. You ain't gonna keep challenging.
No,
All
so
right. What else is connected to Lake Pyru though? In today's
Cthulhu, Cthulhu, Cthulhu,
ooh,
and it's a ritual, right? Because if you Google it right now, let's go ahead and let's pause for a second. Let's get off this screen because this is a part of the video where I don't have my facts straight, so I'm not going to speak about something that I don't know. Let's just do HBO Lovecraft then real quick. Oh shoot, there it
HP,
pops straight up,
HP, HP, HP.
huh? It
You
don't
said
matter.
HBO, it's HP.
It
Did you
is.
type HBO and it still came up?
Yeah, no, because it's not HP. It's HBO. It's a show that's coming out on HBO called Lovecraft
Oh, you're
Country.
talking about the Lovecraft show. I thought you were talking about HP Lovecraft. I thought that's what you were talking about. The
I
art.
I am, I am, but
I'm sorry.
we're
I'm
we're
sorry.
connecting dots
Sorry.
here.
Oh
Nothing
yeah.
is
Oh
by
yeah. Cthulhu.
coincidence.
Because
Nothing is
Cthulhu,
by,
because Cthulhu was a creation of H.P. Lovecraft, correct?
huh?
Was Cthulhu a creation of H.P. Lovecraft, or that's just something
And,
he borrowed?
he no, it was his baby. That's his
That was
that's
his
his
baby.
pride and joy. That's
Mhm.
everything. That's everything about him. Like Cthulhu is that man, that one. You know what I'm saying? That's his
And that's
magnum opus.
and that's the inspiration for 75% of the esoteric movies in Hollywood.
99.9. Excuse me. Horror, horror,
All horror is
horror,
H.P. Lovecraft and
horror,
Cthulhu. All
horror movies are a perpetuation of Lovecraft. But if you look up this Truth is Stranger Than Fiction, I'm gonna just kind of paraphrase and say it real quick. It's just a racial depiction of black people as being
Mhm.
monsters. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
so we can continue, but at its core, it's our divinity. So our divinity has been rearranged to look as if it's a monster. And I'll do you one better. Okay, we can do Lake Pyru, and the etymology. It's hard to find the etymology, but you do find an etymology that in Europe that creates this word to fork. So if you do Cthulhu forks, you'll see a whole bunch of images of the tentacles being forks, just kind of wrapped up in like coils. So Lake Pyru and Cthulhu is the same word. So when you reference the sacrifice or the ritual of Naya Rivera, is simply the continuation, and that show is going to have so much juice even if you don't watch it. It's going to be like Watchmen Part 2, because as we reference, Watchmen was inspired by Alan Moore. Alan Moore is the understudy, even if it's not a personal understudy. He's a self-proclaimed Lovecraftian.
Mm-hmm. Which 80% of the nihilists in Hollywood are, at
Hmm?
least. I said, which at least 80% of the nihilistic directors in Hollywood are. Right? They're all at the base.
99.9. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game,
Yeah,
brother.
Cthulhu and
Is to keep us
Steve
deaf, dumb,
King.
and
Like,
blind. Yes, yes,
yes,
yes,
yes, yes.
yes. Steve
And just to
King,
demystify that, just to tie
Steven
that in on a little bit,
Spielberg, George Lucas.
demystification, so to speak, for the people. Just a little bit of demystification. The reason why they
Mhm.
try to make you ugly, the reason why they try to make you scary, is because these are the things that exist in their subconscious mind about you. Like these are the things that they have nightmares
Exactly,
about.
exactly. This is how they view
Like,
you. So a horror movie
like
is, if they say there's not a lot of black movies out there. No, it's hella black movies out there. They're just a whole
all of them
genre
are your
called
movie.
horror movies.
Yeah,
Huh?
all of them are your movie in essence. Like all of them are their movies in essence. Like the rest of them are talking about the Hey Ruth story. So like all of them are your movies in essence,
Yeah, that
right?
1.09 is the
I
Hey
mean,
Rooster. The yeah, you're right.
yeah, like come on, bro. The good or the bad, the right or the wrong, blah 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 blah. You know that
Right,
silly
but
shit.
the
That's how you're
whole
the same.
idea, though, the whole idea is that they try to create a leader in a leaderless society. But the age of Aquarius is the removal of leaders, and spiritually, there's no way around it. They can only prevent it. Now, all of a sudden, right? Nobody nowhere was referencing Ms. Maxwell. Is that a fair statement?
Yep,
That's a fair
yep,
statement that nobody know who this lady was at a majority level.
yep.
Now, is it also a fair statement that
At a
the
majority
majority of people know who she is now?
level.
Is that a fair statement? Okay.
Absolutely,
And so
absolutely.
she had her phone wrapped in tinfoil. They don't mean that literally. They just letting you know the tinfoil hat podcast is the podcast that you need to listen to. Okay, that's another level. But when you reference the age of Aquarius, you referencing just Lane Maxwell, because they're not talking about this lady at all. They're referencing a spiritual awakening of a leaderless society, and that leaderless society is community based. And this is the term for the age of Aquarius, meaning that there are no leaders. There is no patriarchy. There's only a matriarchy. There's only the love for your family. And so the idea is that if you begin that now, you are golden. However, if you continue to acquiesce, I mean, the patriarchal energy is just dying out. It has no steam. You listen to these people and they no longer make sense, because the reality that they were perpetuating don't exist any longer. So when you reference the age of Aquarius, you only have me, you, Prime, Honcho, all of the people on the Slack, Mama Mystic, Gemini Angel, Sashat, Black Widow Divine. All of these people represent the age of Aquarius. However, if we don't unite in the space of reality, then it's all for nothing. And the only way that you are able to unite is through the psychological development of the revelations, of doing the chakra work. Now, if you think I'm making up revelations have to do with chakra work, then all you have to do is buy the book. You understand what I'm saying? And then he'll say the same thing that I'm saying. So I'm not trying to force it here. I'm making it real simple and plain. Oh, here it go right here. I'm gonna just do a little diagram real quick, and because I feel like that's what's necessary. You mind, brother?
No, absolutely not.
Vlad trying to hack the convo. Vlad. Okay, here we go. This is another level. Okay, this is another level. I'm gonna put this up, and I'm gonna share my. I'm not gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show my camera. Okay. Can y'all see that? Okay. What do Philadelphia say? What chakra is Philadelphia?
Crown.
Okay. Will Smith, that's 3 for you, brother. That's 3 for you.
Fresh Prince.
Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah, I think.
So in this book, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just say this one more time and let you speak. This is the revelation of Saint John. Okay, the revelation of Saint John. In the first appendix, the first table is correlating the 7 cities in this book to the 7 chakras. So the revelation is your spiritual awakening. I want you to be clear. If you don't have this book, then don't argue with me and tell me something contrary to what I'm saying, because you have no source in your argument. I have a source in my argument. You see the wear and tear on this book? You see the wear and tear on this book? You see the food stains on this book?
Mm-hmm. The many days you had to reference that book. Yeah. That's just one of those things. You know, it's very important for you to have an idea of what it is that you are talking about, because I think a bunch of us don't have the aptitude to make the separation between, belief and knowing. I think the overwhelming majority believe belief and knowing are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always hear, I know it's true because I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always hear that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why, the ancients would always say that belief is the most dangerous thing in the world, because it's the most powerful thing, and it's also the most, you know, punch drunk thing that a person could have, and they'll follow their belief into their grave and just not care, just because their ego wouldn't allow it. So, what I'm saying, I say all of that to say that, would you recognize certain shit and shit be off? There's a reason why it's off,
Mm-hmm.
and the delay in information that we are getting, like, these stories are like months and months old.
Mm-hmm.
Like Wayfair, the trafficking of the kids, the adrenochrome they want to talk to you about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real honest, okay? This is
Mm-hmm.
why you people with your morality can't talk to me, and this is why, apropos for the Dark Serpent to speak to. Like, you really can't get to a point of telling me about right and wrong when we have over 1.5 million kids missing every fucking year. You can't get to that point with me and talk about right and wrong. You can't get to that point with me with George Floyd. You can't get to that point with me with the pandemic, the fake flu that they're telling y'all got, the AKA Chris Brown. You can't get to those points with me when you have 1.5 million children missing every year and no one says anything about it. But you have a morality kick. You have an idea
You can
about
tell
right and
people
wrong,
what's right
right?
and wrong, and what you should or shouldn't be doing, and
Nope.
little shorties is out here toting pistols,
Nope.
and you don't
Nope.
care as long as they
Nope.
ain't in your neighborhood. So
Nope.
the reality is
Nope.
that it's certain neighborhoods that we can't go to because they under spiritual lockdown, and so the revelation came to me is that it's my responsibility to heal the place that I'm at spiritually. I'm not going around everybody saying Hotep. I'm not going to people and saying what's wrong with you. I'm doing straight geomancy. I'm going to the ley lines and the fault lines and the ancient mound sites, and I'm going to ritualize them and send healing through the earth. Okay. And so I say that to say that if you're not doing that in your neighborhood, please don't complain. Okay, let's do it one better so you can have a source, because I don't like talking about shit without a source. Jonathan Strange and Dr. Norrell. It's a particular episode. If you ain't watched that miniseries, don't talk to me. Okay. Jonathan Strange and Dr. Norrell. It's on Netflix. So y'all watch everything else. Y'all watch lava jumping on Netflix, but don't. Jonathan Strange and Dr. Norrell, at a particular point, you look at England. England is a small island. It has no resources. The people there are weak. They don't live long. They reproduce at a low level. They don't have as much intelligence as everyone else. However, they are the world power. Nobody's bringing no smoke to London right now, because London is magically charged with sigil magic, with energy magic, with geomancy. It's all in the John D book. Do I have it handy? I don't have it handy. But Jason Lew's book, John D and the Empire of Angels. Okay? So in order to do and reverse this particular energy, you got to tap into Kabbalah, aka the moon. And once you do that, you can kind of supersede the magic that they doing. However, if you don't understand or do geomantic magic, then you a victim of it. Do that make sense?
Puppet or puppet master?
For the most part. But that's the spiritual awakening, activating your puppet energy. And to understand you're a puppet master, you have to learn how to be. It's a skill doing all of this shit. You know, that's a skill that we have to begin to learn.
Many tentacles, being able to judge many different things and be in many different places at once.
Cthulhu.
Being able
Look up
to
octopus. Look up octopus in that, like the great octopus.
Isn't that what a single mom does?
That's what my mom did. That I can't speak for single moms as a whole. I think my mom was
me
able
neither. That's what my
to
mom did. That's what my mom did. My mom was Cthulhu. My mom had that Cthulhu in it.
She took care of everything. Y'all ready for these?
Everything. My mama was big mama in the hood.
Mm-hmm. Get the other one to your brother. I'm listening to you, man. You hold it down. I'm trying to.
No. I didn't know what you were doing. You got me.
I'm handing my kids their tablet so they can get they rocks off.
All right. So where did you just leave off? Did you finish that question? Because I feel like you're on the verge of something better. So I want you to keep going.
I feel like I'm done with that, man. I feel as though we got a lot to talk about. So for the most part, it's a lot of things that people need to really reference, like geomancy, the same thing. So what they doing, right? They say they tearing down the statues. What are the statues there for? To venerate a Civil War hero?
Yeah.
No, that's not what it's for. Yeah. Every statue has a geomantic purpose. Is Latin letters, is time capsules, is ancient information, is burial mounds, is ancestral energy. Right. Is the reason why City Hall is where City Hall is at.
I got it.
Go ahead.
I got it. I'm sorry. I got it. It left me for a second, but basically, that is everything that they have created. They created in symbolic form. Their symbology is based on their magic that is encapsulating our burial mounds from our ancestors. Correct?
100%. 100%.
So that energy is being that energy is being reformatted and readjusted to where they want it to go, as opposed to how it's supposed to be flowing. Correct?
I'll do you one better. If you don't have this book, we can't have a conversation. We can't. We can't do it. I don't even know. Free
Free
your
your mind, or
mind,
your mind will follow. Free your
Ross,
mind, or your mind will follow.
Ross Ben. Okay, so okay, I'll do you one better. Where's Ross Ben from, real quick? I just want to give another point to Will Smith.
He went to Philadelphia, graduated from Fordham University.
Okay, that's another point for Will Smith. So I can only speak from experience. I lived in multiple cities, and so Columbus has a particular grid line where is equilateral northwest streets, east-west streets, and the center is really defined broad and high. Broad and high is the center of Columbus. So the difference between Columbus, when you go to Columbus and you just might, if you walk into like a restaurant and you might say, you know what, man, fuck the Buckeyes, man. I can't stand everything that they stand for. Like, I hate the Buckeyes. You will get into a fight because
Mhm.
the grid is tight. Um, you don't know how many bathrooms I went into that had red and gray color schemes, fam. It was like
Mhm.
a disease. Like, you've never seen so
Mhm.
many red and gray color schemes in your life. Bathrooms, Buckeye decorated. Okay. Saturdays, forget it. What are you doing? What do you mean what I'm doing? I'm
The
a
whole
late.
town is at the game. The whole town is at the game.
You got to get your outfit. You got to know how you tailgating. You got to pregame, and you got to know what the post game routine is. High Street. I go to High Street every day for my coffee. I go to get my coffee shop thing going on. But if it's a Saturday and it's a Buckeye game, you can forget about it. I can't do nothing. And it ain't like the game is nowhere around where I'm at. It's just the mere fact that every bar, every establishment is operating off the function of the slavery of our melanated men. Okay, the whole city exists on the environment that these young men provide, the atmosphere, the winning. And it's not even to say that all of those people come from Ohio, because they be recruiting all over the world. Okay, so they bring these energies here. Don't nobody care about the basketball team. It's not the same energy for the lacrosse games. It's not the same energy for the baseball games. The energy is for Buckeyes. And I say that to say, when I lived in Canton, Ohio, it wasn't like that. When I lived in Boston, Massachusetts, people cared. But the overall grid structure is found in your center. And your center, if you have a city, is based upon a burial mound. If you live in a city, so every city has a center. What determines a center is a burial mound. Okay, that's the whole idea of them even existing, is because they exist on top of our ignorance, or on top of us, the suppression. So the establishment, when you say, oh, I'm from Chicago, I'm from Detroit, I'm from Los Angeles, I'm from here, no, these places existed before colonialism, and they had a whole system, and they had a whole way to venerate their ancestors. So the mere fact of what we living in is that you cannot kill energy. You can only suppress it. But as you suppress it, it gets stronger. And as it gets stronger, it's going to topple whatever system you had placed on top of it.
Yeah,
And that's where
finding
mounds
out
are at. Mounds are statues.
finding out finding out that DC was built on top of that.
Mhm.
Finding out that Ohio is built on top of that. Ohio is also the number one leader in the world in prisons at the same time. I wonder why. Understanding the connection between that and a project. What is a project? Where they're just projecting all of this energy in one place, and they're generating all of that energy up in one place. And what happens in the project? Does anything good come from the project? Like,
I came
All of
from
these
them
ideas
projects.
in which they, I mean, I think you get what I'm saying. All of this energy that was reconstituted and reformatted in their likeness, right up under our nose. When you get to that realization, when you get to that point, it's your duty to want to do something about it. Otherwise, just lay down. Just lay down. Because the ignorance will sound worse. Like when you say the wrong things and you do the wrong things based on the wrong information, it comes across so bad to the people that have done the work and the people that are trying to do the work and the people that don't believe in that silly shit. Like literally, sometimes I want to throw my phone when I get on there and somebody tells me I got the choice between A and B. Like, how do you know what choice I have?
Let's read.
Like,
Let's read.
like,
Let's read. Cause
like,
we
like,
probably sound like buffoons at this particular point, but I want to speak from the mouth of a master. You mind?
yeah, yeah.
Page 18 from Ross Ben's book, Free Your Mind and Your Mind Will Follow. Disconnected from ancestors, land, and the cosmos, they tend to be devitalized and devitalized and demagnetized by eating habits and food choices as well. This is the slow, sick death of the indigenous existing through the intentions of mound gritters. This is not a battle of flesh and blood, but of spiritual wickedness in high and low places. Mound gritting quotations founding fathers of the United States. What is a mound gritter? A mound gritter is someone who can identify an indigenous mound, survey, mark, and chart connecting ley lines extending from the mound, harness the magnetic fields circulating at that point for their will. Period.
I'm sorry, I had to mute myself because that was exponential. Like that was, wow, wow. Like he said it just like that. You didn't put that in there, right? You didn't write that down yourself, did you? Like he
I
said it just
didn't,
like that,
man. Page 18.
bro, bro,
If anybody out
bro.
there got the
No,
book, they can
I
reference.
believe you. I
No,
believe
I
you.
want to
I
show.
believe you.
No, because people don't believe me. You believe me, but niggas don't. You know what I'm saying? Niggas think I'm
Yeah, yeah.
full of shit.
All right, all right. Let me see. Wow. Bring it over a little. Yeah, right there.
I read it word for word. I read it word for word. You got to get the book. You got to get the book before you can have conversations about where you live. You be actually
Where you
thinking that
come
you in that
from?
city, or you disconnected from your ancestors. If you look at this place, like, yeah, this place was founded and established in 1808. Huh? Huh?
Yeah, like I have to stop conversations when they start talking about forefathers. Like I have to walk away from
But
conversations
see,
when they start talking
the
like
four
that.
they did the damn thing, man. That's some extensive work that they did, man. That they did
Some
they
real cloak and dagger shit. Some
bro,
real cloak and dagger shit,
they
bro.
cold, man. They cold, bro. Like that's cold. I be driving in the sticks of Massachusetts, man, and the signs still hold up, 18
Yeah.
miles to such and such township, bro. Like you pull up in a township, it be having street signs, it be having a city hall, it be having a downtown, man. They are cold with the shit, man. They laid out a whole grid plan. They got highway systems. They got street systems. They renamed every fucking river, fam. Every stream, every creek, bro. Got they energy on top of it, fam. You can't even talk to a person in their ancestral rights. Cause people look at me like I'm crazy because I rename mounds. I be telling you the true story of Detroit, the true story of Ohio. I tell you the truth, and I look like an idiot. But I don't have all of my books here, but man, I'll do you one better. I be at the mounds. Read the. I went to I didn't go to every mound in here, so don't let me out here. No, I'm not here to cap, but I'm here to say
You sound like you got a little cap in you, like
I do
just a
got
little
cap
bit
in me.
of.
I got cap in me. I'm a
It sounds like
liar.
you got.
I'm a
It's a
liar. That's
little.
why I have to check myself. I have to have somebody here to check me because I will lie in a
You
heartbeat.
sound like you got a little bit of cap, but I ain't
I
mad.
I know
It's a good
myself.
cap though. It's a good cap though. It's a
I
good
know
cap.
myself.
It's
I
a
know
good.
myself. What I'm saying is that I've been at these mounds redirecting the energy, and that's no cap. That's no cap. That I mean that with my soul. I've been reversing the energy, renaming these mounds. This ain't Mound City, you know. This is
There
this is
hasn't been a
Metro.
conversation.
This
There
is a
hasn't been a
whole.
conversation we've had that you haven't brought up the mounds. So yeah, I can attest to that. I can attest to that. Like you
So
talk about the mounds in every conversation. Like just as
there,
much as you talk about just as much as you talk about anything else. So like I can
yeah.
attest to that. So
Yeah. So for me, man, in order for us to actually tap in, we gotta look at these codes at a deeper level and stop looking at everything at the surface level and act like because they was in the news that we, can breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, we figured them out now. No, we only barely scratched the surface because this thing is not external; it's internal. You said it. But bro, what's the next question? What's the next elaboration? Let's get off of this because y'all got me tight.
I got you tight. I got you
Yeah, you
tight.
got me
I got you
tight,
tight, tight. I
tight,
got you tight, tight.
tight,
Like tight, tight, tight.
tight, tight.
Like tight breast tight or like tight neck tight. Like which one?
My throat chakra, man.
Oh,
My throat
oh.
chakra is tight.
I apologize. I really don't. Necromancy. What is necromancy as it relates to today, if you will?
All right. So this is going to be a particular point in time where we'll have to look at this as a group because these is one of these conversations where I get, the crazy. You so crazy, hood. You be saying the
Word.
craziest stuff.
Oh,
Hood,
word.
hood mystic.
Word.
You so
Word.
crazy.
Oh, oh, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know about all that. I don't really know about all that.
You don't know about that?
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
I'll be the judge. I'm fucking with you because I know you're gonna bust my ass on it like the first slide. So what's this? So I gotta read. I gotta go back to school. I gotta go back to school. Let me see.
better you than
13,
me. Better you than me.
1300.
So what is
Whoa.
our
Did that
reference
say?
point? Hold on. Our reference point though is somewhere on here. Oh yeah, Pizzagate. So a lot of this Hillary Clinton ties into Pizzagate, John Wiener, Abdul such and such, Frazzle Drip. If you don't know what Frazzle Drip is, Google it. But it's more tied into that where they doing it to the kids. I can't believe it. But Pizzagate almost exactly innates to 111. So they probably not doing nothing with kids. Your kids is right there with you. I'm playing the tablet. At least my kids is, and that's the overall goal. However, to supersede all of that, you read beyond that and say, "Oh, they're not doing nothing to kids." Or even if they are, the real thing might be the necromancy. However, what is necromancy? Because I don't know.
See, 1300. Negromancy. Sorcery, witchcraft, black magic,
Hold up. Let's rewind. Hold on.
properly. That's the properly divination. Like
No.
by communication, like negromancy, like not NYG, like Negro, like Negro, like Negro, like Negro.
Not
Like
this.
I'm trying to say it. I'm trying to say it without it coming across offensive, but I don't give a fuck about the offense. I'm just saying necromancy. That's the
You
first
see
thing
it?
that made me like pause. Like that's why I studied. I was throwing off. Nigga, hold up. My spirit just shocked right now. Like negromancy. What you mean by that, nigga? You know when you get that nigga face, you just like, what you mean by that, nigga? Like necromancy? That's a word?
Mhm,
See what I'm saying?
mhm,
See what I'm saying? Fuck out my face. Please,
mhm.
please read. Please read. Just read it. I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it no more. I promise
I'm
you I
not.
won't.
I'm not. I said that it could happen. It could happen in real life, but it's also a deeper level that if you just look at the surface, you not solving nothing. You just mad. However, when you realize what they're calling you and what they're trying to say, then you could change the vibrations of the energy. Okay, so let's be clear. I'm not discrediting anything, and I know that tragedies and horrors happen every day. But my solution is to get to the core and develop a puppet master approach to this, as opposed to just being mad that there are puppet masters. There are puppet masters who have evil intent. Okay,
I
there.
could I could tie that in right now, real quick, real simple. If you believe in the devil, you are the puppet.
Mm,
You are not the puppet master. Because every time you think about the devil and you reference the devil, you reference it in some Christian, like Catholic, like Baptist, like whatever denomination, whatever divinate, whatever, like that shit, like no disrespect, no disrespect. But that reference, post colonially, is a reference on you, not a reference against anything good or bad. It's a
mm.
reference against you. So puppet master,
Well,
continue.
let's continue, man, because let's look at this because these are what you were referencing. You know that energy that make you feel like you negative or whatever the case may be. But let's continue. Divination by communication with the dead. So if you identify as this, right? What's that?
What is that? It's too small on my screen.
I'm gonna get there. I'm
People,
gonna get there for you.
you got people thinking I can't read and shit. I don't give a fuck. Sorry, pardon my language. It's not for kids. My bad.
Mhm. So we'll zoom in a little bit more. So this is Negro is a surname of Italian origin, meaning black. Negro is negromancy, sorcery, witchcraft, or black magic. But this definition says divination by communication with the dead. So this is how they communicate to Negroes. Okay. But are you a Negro? Are you a colored? Are you a black? Are you an Indian? Are you a native? If you accept that, if you want to be, you can be, but understand what's happened, what it is sorcery, is witchcraft, is black magic, is necromancy, is witchcraft, is sorcery, divination from an exhumed corpse. So I went to public school. This word befuddles me.
Which one? Which one?
To dig out something buried, especially a corpse from our ground. So this exhumed corpse is literally are people that walk around and they are mentally, psychologically, emotionally dead. And they are literal zombies. Because if they tell you to walk around with a mask, you will. And the dead part of you will say, no, it's for health. But we all could cut a big ass circle hole in our mask and walk through that same store and nobody would say nothing. Nobody would care about the health. I could sit here with a hole in my mask and blow my hot breath out the mask the whole time I'm walking into the store and nobody would trip on me. So what we have is a society that's dead, And the way that they deal with you is through necromancy. And this is not subject to black or white people because the puppet master just sees puppets. He don't care that his white puppets are treated better than his black puppets. He used them all as puppets. So the idea is to step outside of that and get to a point. So when I was referenced earlier about the news, whether they referencing this or that or this, they referencing some form of passion or spirit or mania that get you super super charged. And the reason that they get you charged is because they are referencing your energy. They need your energy charge, and they wasn't getting a job done with how society was. So they've done this whole coronavirus. Now it might not be affecting you, but it's a lot of people that is scared to leave their house, especially with this second wave energy. And maybe they should be scared. I don't know. I'm not saying that I know, but what I am saying is that they are purposefully trying to get you to fear. Okay, and more into it, the root of necro is Niger black, on the notion of black arts. So when you reference Black Lives Matter and things of that nature, this is all that they're talking about. They can do this stuff very very well because you don't know that they're doing it. And when you is in this particular dead body, you don't realize that you're a victim of it because it's magic. It's real magic. Okay. So before you start to do your magic, you might be even perpetuating this and not even knowing it through your hexes, through your wanting a big house, through you wanting, all of this personal ego, dead shit that when it comes to stepping outside of it, that's more of the age of Aquarius. That's more of a deeper conversation that I'm just trying to at least just try to bring about, just have a conversation without triggering people, without people getting mad. However, if you got something to say, say it with your chest.
Oh, I like it when you trigger people. So on a practical level, because I'm just always going to bring it down to a practical level because that's what humans want. That's what humans ask for, rather. Uh, it sounds like you are basically saying that this is all your power. It's yours anyway. So either, you figure out that you actually have it and try to use it and try to understand it, or you just, go on being the Walking Dead. That's what it sounds like you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
Walking Dead, that's another show that you got to watch if you want to understand what's happening. I mean, if you feel like you got a handle on things and you know what I'm saying, you just out here living your best life and you don't got to watch these programs, then that's your vibe. But, the education now is in the entertainment. And so not to be like, "Oh, this is real good," but to just learn how they operate and how like the divinity works is really found in really doing your study using the modality of like TV and movies and things like that. Like, but you shouldn't be watching it because it's like good, but you can watch these things to learn. Geomancy, Jonathan Strange, and Doctor Noro. But that's where you get it from.
yeah,
There's
I would
probably
also
other
throw,
movies, but I don't know.
I would also throw in there the magician.
The magicians, yeah, they doing all of that. They going in and out of realms and showing you how it is in the astro versus the real, and how the astro and the real come together, and how when you die, you don't really die. You go to the astro realm, and when you die from there, you come back here, and it's just a continuous thing. And so this holistic journey, man, is actually, it takes some actually getting some adept knowledge too. But where the problem is that everybody exists in the 3D, or they think they do. So when we invite six-dimensional conversation, beyond dimensional conversation, people feel lost. So I'm really grateful for you because you keeping us all grounded. And you making sure I ain't saying no stupid shit, or you know what I'm saying. So at least I hope, you know what I'm saying.
Now I wanted you to say some stupid shit to start to laugh at. Um. Uh. No, I think the confusing part for a lot of people is that they 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 mix their emotions with their practicality, and 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 it's okay to make an emotional decision if you're in touch with your divine feminine. If you're in touch with your opposite aspect, if you're a female and you're in touch with your divine masculine, it's okay for you to make that decision because you know that it's coming from a pure place. But if you're making that decision based on being riled up and you're making that decision based on uh, uh, a clip that you watched too many times, a la George Floyd, like these things are things that are made to concoct certain energies and certain aspects of your being to respond. And if you're not aware that these things are jogging you into this response, then you're just going to keep going back to that response. And then your body gets used to that response. So now you have your causal body used to these responses and actually gets an attitude if it can experience these responses. So
Mhm.
understanding the correlation between the two and then understanding that there are faculties that are at play that you are in operation of and that you have no control of because you're choosing to be ignorant about a certain aspect of your life that you probably always ignore. So it's not your fault. Nobody's calling anybody to fault. So if you're feeling some type of way about the way it's coming across, then that's really just your ego. Your ego
Mhm.
can exist in the now. So be in the now, get the message in the now. And then we can get to another point of expansion and understanding and taking this and building and breaking it down.
Mhm. Yeah, we got to remove the dead, man. We got to let the dead lie with the dead and get into the spiritual awakening, get into the modalities, get into the conversations that reference your spiritual self. And so, if we all computers, some of us are going to plug in and some of us are going to be remained unplugged. And when you plug in, you can open up applications, you can run, you programs, you could get on the internet, do a live stream, talk to Rod if I wanted to. I can do a lot of things when my computer is plugged up. However, if I don't plug my computer up, I'ma look at the niggas that is plugged up with jealousy. I'ma feel like I hear what you saying, Hood. I see what you doing, Hood, but I don't see me doing that type of shit that you doing. Oh, you may be doing a lot, Hood. I can't do nothing like that. Okay, um, you right, you can't. But the idea is to plug, and I'm not coming from an ego position. I'm just using myself as an example of shit that I actually hear every fucking day. So the reality is that I don't give credit to nothing but my work in nature. If I wasn't, when y'all niggas was going to Jamaica, when y'all niggas was going to St. Croix, when y'all niggas was going to Paris, when y'all niggas was going to Africa, I was going to America. I was coming to America. I was seeing the place where I live at. You don't even travel outside of your city, but yet and still you want to travel 1,000 miles and say you going somewhere. We was going to the mounds and we was doing work as a family. When we had free time, we was hitting the road and we was doing work. So when I reference my grounding, I reference a different type of grounding. However, I can still give you the keys and tools to be able to have a cosmic intelligence outside of your ignorance. Because your highest intelligence that you would um, adhere to in the realms of intelligence or knowledge, it don't matter if you ain't plugged up. You can have all of the functions that a computer has, but if it's not plugged up, you'll never be able to run nothing. Okay, you won't be able to run anything. That's just the facts. So when we reference chakra work, when we reference the spiritual awakening, we actually reference a modality to awaken yourself. If you don't want to take my chakra courses, if you don't want to hear shit that I'm saying, that's perfectly fine. But trust me when I say immerse yourself in nature if you don't do shit else. Bathe in nature. Learn the nature and the intelligence of nature, rather, in order to understand what I'm talking about. Because when you reference a city, when you reference a building, when you reference a home, when you reference a vehicle, you reference in sorcery. You're not referencing intelligence because those actual items won't do shit for you. However, when you in nature, when you hungry, it'll give you food. When you need to take a bath, it'll give you water. When you need to sustain yourself and hydrate yourself, it'll give you water. However, this necromancy, as we trying to achieve and get a space within the necromancy, but this necromancy is poisoning our water. This necromancy is polluting our air. This necromancy is ruining the crops with its Monsanto pesticides and things of that nature, giving our children's diabetes, so forth and so on. You know, you can walk into the grocery store and buy 100 of something and eat it every day and kill yourself. If you just ate Cheetos every day, right? If you ate McDonald's every day, you would die. Okay. So when we trying to be successful, we just have to redirect ourselves outside of the necromancy and get more into the geomancy and understand that we are abundant beings. But the only way we know that is through nature or through understanding our body.
And the only thing I'm going to add to that is very simple. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This idea that your worth is in the accumulation of things is the biggest fallacy there is since the existence of mankind. If mankind is something that you ascribe to. Like, you don't get to a point of respect and power and all of those fictitious things just because you have things. Like, you just don't get there. If you're trying to get to an awakening, I know that baggage is pretty fucking heavy. Because you're not going to get to an awakening because you're worried about all the things you don't have. All right? When you're trying to get to a point of obtaining something, you don't worry about what you don't have. You go for what you need, what you have to have. Mm-hmm. And having to have is not counting the accumulation of things. What they say when they meet you, what you do for work. Mm-hmm. As if that is supposed to determine the level of respect an individual is supposed to get based on where they work. Mm-hmm. Like, this accumulation process, this accumulation love, this glamour love, like, has it not been broken down, if not so many fucking times? And we're still talking about getting lit and turning up. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, when does it get old? When does it get to a point where you actually have your own faculties at play and you say, I want something bigger. I want something different. That's all.
For me, bro, it's the removal, it's the waning moon process, you know, learning the level of release and learning the level of just letting go everything that I know about myself. And just like, man, I was in a real dark place, man. I was in a real dark place. And Paul Santisi, he used to have these meditations on YouTube. And I was in the basement of a bando, man. And I had my phone and I did the Paul Santisi like negativity meditation. And I just submerged myself in that negativity. And in that guided meditation, he was like, let go, let go, let go. And he just kept saying let go so many times. And for that whole meditation, I was just letting go, letting go. And at the end of the meditation, one of my old flames, man, kicked me up, man. This chick from Miracle. This chick, her name was Miracle. But you know, the girls that I used to date back in them days, they had nicknames. So I don't know her real name. I just know her as Miracle, but that's how she used to show up. And so she's like, man, where are you at?
Miracle with the clear heels?
Miracle with the clear heels, fam. Miracle with the clear heels. So yeah, she she picked me up, you know, she gave me a ride, and you know, she took me back to her. She had an apartment at this time, you know, she was like,
yo,
you know,
I just realized I can't send this one to my kids, okay?
I'm still speaking nice, man. I ain't said nothing. She just treated me real good, you know. And from there, it kind of set me on my feet and on my path, just in the meditations that really work. So, you know, because after that, you know, it was just like, damn, she came through. Like, she just came through, just broke me off, like, and it was like she hurt me in the astro. You know what I'm saying? But it was real easy to communicate to her once I got rid of those levels of ego. And so that's something that I'm actually still learning and applying. But where I'm at now with this actual science is the understanding of the waning moon and getting to a new moon and dealing with my increase, but only increasing to the point that I can get rid of everything that I increase. So all of the shit that I'm doing right now, honestly, if it was over tomorrow, I'd be cool with it because I ain't increasing to have forever. I'm accumulating to receive. I'm trying to give away shit. You know, I be developing plans where I can
Nah.
incorporate shit.
I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you.
Go ahead.
You know, I've been single for 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just reminded me about the astro pussy. Like I was just about. You know what? Go ahead, carry on.
I'm dead, man. What's the because the Astro? I've been thinking about that too. Like, man, go ahead. What was your thoughts on that? Because you got some thoughts on that.
I was just like, yeah, I could have connected with so many of them, and it's like I really just don't care. Like my focus has been on the Kundalini, so it's like understanding understanding the difference between wanting to spill that seed based on a causal body addiction, and the difference between wanting to spill that seed and knowing that I don't want to spill that seed unless it's in a monumental place. Like I'm just different. I don't know. I'm just different, and
Mm-hmm.
you just made me think about the astro. My bad.
Mm-hmm. No, because that's the only place that a person can get me at this point because it's like so the whole purpose is to kind of get you to spill your seed. So that's why the girls look so good. That's why sometimes women have a negative connotation and they can be perceived as negative because there is no actual sacred handling of the sperm. There's a lot of energy tied into sperm that a lot of people just can kind of have sex almost haphazardly to the point where they put themselves at a lot of risk in a variety of ways. So when you are able to sit with yourself and sit with your energy and begin to program your seed to do things other than its natural function. So having children is the default function of sperm. However, when you get into the settings through Kundalini, you can begin to have them do different things. You can see the different applications that you can run on your sperm. So your sperm become like many aspects of yourself. And so this is for men, right? But men are so disrespected and so degraded when it comes to their energy. I mean, certain women just feel like they can say hi to me and I'm gonna just run across, the whole fucking country, right, to be with them in the space of me having a family, children, and things of that nature. They really do think that, the lack of control is that real. And then the reality is, it is for a lot of men, 99.9% of men. But when you
Who thinks that?
actually,
Who? But what do you mean? Who thinks that?
women and men think that is normal and natural for you to just give your seed away. So the perpetuation through the relationships, through the conversation, is not a buildup of that. Developing tantric exercises. Sending you the nudes and things of that nature. But they want to be your
I
friend. No, listen,
I
listen, listen,
disagree.
listen, listen, listen.
I dis-
They rather talk to you in a space where they want to be your friend, or they rather be your actual relationship partner. But the actual modality of tantra is more of a sexual vibration, whether we have sex or not. Maybe the idea is to not have sex at all to really understand the energy of tantra, but is everything outside of that. So even as men, it requires me to develop my masculine energy. It requires us to be at our best selves because we are inspiration to the opposite polarity. So how we show up in our relationships based on our personal self-care is dynamic, Because if you are an entity or an energy that really cares about yourself on all levels, then you can actually provide sexual revitalization just by conversation, just by action. And this is like seeing far into the future or seeing far into the past. So it's going to be disconnect with what I'm saying right now. But those who have ears can hear.
No, the only disagreement I had with that was the idea that um they don't view it as sacred. They don't view it as important as it should be. I think the idea as to why the fervor for it as a whole is so intense and such a big moneymaker is because they know it's so sacred. You understand?
Good point. Good correction. That's a good correction.
Because like the goal is always the top of the fucking mountain, right? Which is the orgasm, correct?
Yeah.
So if the goal is the orgasm and the idea is to
But
be
what's a
able to
male
control,
orgasm? What's a male orgasm? Let's be
it
clear on
depends
that.
on who you ask. It depends on
I'm
who you
asking
ask.
you. I'm asking you. I'm
All
asking
right.
you.
Well, in my humble opinion, based on my knowing of my body and myself,
Mm.
the male orgasm is full body, full everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the type when it's like please get off me when it's over. Like even if I love you, like just don't touch me right now. Like
Mm.
that is the cream of the crop. But there is even another level beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
with, without even spilling your seed, and it's still called the
Mm-hmm.
orgasm. So what I'm saying is I'm trying to go to the other side because I've done this side. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? That's the one, that's the animal nature one. That's the one, you go in the bathroom and rub that off, part of my French. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that one. But this one over here, the one that has to be worked for, the one that has to be dying, the one that has to be sought after, so to speak. You understand? Does that make sense? That one is more intriguing because there has to be a sort of developmental process that isn't final. There's no absolute there. Like there's no ceiling. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Over here, there's a
Mm-hmm.
ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ceiling
Mm-hmm.
because if I don't want you to touch me right after,
But then that's not an orgasm. Then that's an ejaculation. So
okay. Thank you
on
very
that
much for making
side,
the distinction between the two. Thank you very
that
much. Thank
side
you.
the ejaculation over here is the orgasm for which the tantra in the conversation and the support of this actual energy because within that we are like within your with your husband you love your husband, right? So you do not let him spill his seed because you do not want your husband to be drooling. But as babies, right, when we are children we may drool, right? But over time we learn to keep it retained.
I still drool.
I can drool from time to time. You can catch me drooling depending on the vibration, how big the booty is. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to say that. Let me get back on track. Now you got me thinking about booties. Damn. You gotta take over. I'm done. You gotta take over.
That was to the gut. Like you got big booty Brenda in your mind now. Yo, I'm
fam,
so
fam, what was we
I'm
talking
so
about?
I'm so yo.
Fam, what was we talking about?
I'm so sorry. Yo, I'm so sorry. We were talking about the difference between ejaculation and orgasm.
Okay, yeah.
When talking
Thank
about
you.
the
Thank
Kundalini
you.
and
Thank
the
you.
root
Thank you.
chakra
Thank you.
and
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still stuck. I'm sorry.
listen, listen.
Hmm?
This is just one of those things where it's like it's. I'm gonna use a which word. Can I use a which word? Can I use a which
Hmm.
word? Can I use a which word? This is justifiable.
Hmm.
This is justifiable.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So no, the difference between a male orgasm and a female orgasm is nothing, right? How we should share in that same orgasm, but when I'm actively making love to a woman, I'm centered in her orgasm. However, women are not taught to think that they should work in that same fashion to get you into an orgasm. They want to get you into an ejaculation, and a majority of the population thinks like this. So when it comes to kundalini, we're done for. Everybody is watching porn and they're looking at the cum shot. Sorry to be graphic, but that's what it is, and that's what they think sex is. But that's us drooling. Okay, that's our example of us how we drool. Okay, so when you're doing that hot shit tonight with your boo, just be like, please don't drool on me tonight. That's really disrespectful. That's really nasty, you know, because you could be taking this energy within your cerebral spinal fluid and manifesting me a new house. You could be manifesting us a trip right now. You could be making some money in some trades. You could be doing a whole bunch of shit out here, but you wasting this seed. Or you can have a process where your wife is your earth and she is the actual fertile ground for which you to plant your seed in. However, you have to develop a mental, emotional, physical connection with that person to reach that level. And you only
Um,
establish those consciousnesses in nature. You don't go to school. You go into nature and you learn as one. And that's what I know. That's what I know. And I'm done.
I am
I'm back on
invigorated with.
track. I'm back on track.
Okay, okay. I'm happy for you. I am invigorated by the idea of the being that can match my intensity and my forethought. I am invigorated with the idea of the match in effort, the match in expansion, the match in imagination. I am,
She
I
watching
am,
you
I
right
am,
now, Dark Serpent. Don't
I
even trip.
am,
She watching you
I
like,
am,
I'm gonna be all of that for you, Dark
and and
Serpent. I'm what you want
and
us
the
to
fact
do. I'll
and
smoke
the fact
Newport, so do whatever you.
and the fact that I am based in tantra and I am based in occult science, like I am a voyeur. Like I like to watch. Like you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I'm invigorated. Thank you very much. Carry on.
All men do. All men. So but it's different when a woman get with you. She get comfortable. She start wearing them bonnets. She start wearing them holy ass tights. She start wearing the sock with the toes out. She get real comfortable around you and forget that you're a visual creature. So when we go out to the Kroger's and trying to get some damn bread, and the girls that really care about themselves, they got damn locks oiled down. They got the damn cocoa butter on their goddamn heels. They pedicure match. They got damn fucking tablet case. We see that, okay? So when you in a relationship and you dusty, crusty, and you supposed to love me card against him, just know that we visual creatures. And we looking at the thotty patatis on Instagram because we not getting that same energy at home. So you avoid all of that when you promote self-love in your relationship. So it's really important that you allow your wife to love herself and do the things like right now my wife is getting her hair done. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow she getting her nails done, her feet done. You feel me?
Hmm.
These
Hmm.
things is necessary because I want to look at that shit too. I
Hmm.
want her to feel good about herself, and I want to, pontificate on the female that feel good about herself. But we got to
It's a
promote
different
that.
aura. It's a
Yeah,
different aura.
it's a
It's a
different
different
vibe.
aura when the divine feminine comes home comfortable. Like it's a different. That's different, man.
It's
That's
different.
different when they can walk out the house with no questions. That is different.
Mm.
And it's only you simple-minded motherfuckers that are running around counting, talking about how much they got versus how much you got. Like Y'all need to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't about what she got versus what you got. Y'all supposed to be adding on. You're not supposed to be subtracting. Silly
Yeah,
ass niggas. Like,
it's
it,
strengths
it,
and
it, it, it,
weaknesses.
it it's like, you know, like, and in the back of your mind, you can't stand your baby mother because of all of that money you got to pay child support. But in reality, nigga, you are not there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you are not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, where's the
Mm-hmm.
correlation where you miss that idea, where your absence, the availability of the being not being there is essential for the child. Like, you understand? Like,
I'll do
so
you
we
one
gotta
better. I'll do you one better. If you in a relationship with a person and you feel as though that would actually be a conversation, you should start doing that shit while you within a relationship because that
word.
shouldn't be a dictation on, all right, since you're not in the
Pause.
house, now you're going to start to pay child support because that begins to be a conditional energy. And when you have conditional energies and energies that you can just come up with, a person is easily going to throw that against you and it's just going to be a highway to hell. My
And
thing
your
is
ego is always gonna look for the escape plan. But go ahead.
100%. My 100%. Like so, and once you enact that escape plan, you gonna act real dumb when it be like, well, these kids need this, that, and the third. All right, it's either here you got it or I don't know what you're talking about. But then if it get to a point where a person got to go to court, then that's like at a last resort. However, when I say that's a last resort, that be people's first resort, meaning that we have the courts is not here for you to run to. That's why they back up with child support cases. The court is there for you to mediate a discrepancy, a disagreement. You know what I'm saying? For which we have the opportunity within our relationships to come to agreement, but it take both parties. But go ahead.
No, I just wanted to answer the last person in the chat who said something about they need stimulation. They need to they need motivation basically. That sounds like
Mm-hmm.
that's what she's speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
And I will attest to that. That is absolute. Like, you can't be the nigga that just sit on the sofa and get your beer brought to you every fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't do that and still want your John to walk around in a sexy ass thong with a fucking head with a head done. Like, you can't do
1,000.
both.
1,000.
You can't do both. You can't be in idol worship watching your binge watch shit on Netflix or whatever else and think your girl just supposed to look good every time she walk past you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, nigga, like you've been scratching your nuts for about 15 minutes, nigga. That shit stink right now. I don't really think I want to come sit next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm
But
just
that's
saying, my
self
bad.
love. But self love is the energy that we both like. I personally put effort into every single day, and I don't do that for my wife. I do that for me. And if she peer at me and be like, "Damn, this nigga look good," or she peer at me like, "Damn, this nigga fat as hell," I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit either. She could think I'm a disgusting piece of shit in her heart. But I'm trying. Like I'm trying to better myself or whatever the case may be. And our relationship ain't based on, superficial things. However, there is a superficial element to it because we exist in this world. And I guess the shadow projection is always found in I'm not doing the work for myself, so I project it on my wife and vice versa. So the work is working through our shadow projection for me, for me personally. So my shadow projection is me putting the effort in the shit that I need to do, whether it's weight wise, energetic wise, intellectual wise, so forth and so on, man. That's where I'm at.
And
But go,
I
but
am,
go into what you were saying about keeping yourself together and manifesting a relationship and all that. Because you was getting on to something, you just stopped.
um, I need to say that I need my brothers also to know that I'm not up here bashing them. I'm up here
I
bashing the
am.
ideal. I'm up here bashing the ideals that you have nurtured and carried with you since the beginning of time within this fucking program cycle that you have chosen to embrace. So if we're gonna not penalize people for ignorance, but at the same time not give them credit for not knowing, then we got to do it both on both sides. So I'm not bashing dudes. I just need y'all to know I'm not bashing y'all. But I need you to understand that that post-colonial fucking mindset that you have, where it's supposed to be me versus the woman in every place but the bedroom, is a fucking weak idea. Like, that's just weak. It's just weak. Like, we need to stop counting how much money they make. We need to stop counting how much attention they get. We need to stop counting. We need to stop counting. We need to stop fucking counting. Otherwise, you're gonna be on the other side counting the wrong bag alone. Like, that's just the reality. You'll be on the other side counting the wrong bag alone. Because nobody has ever got that righteous credit from how many bitches they got. Like, we can go back post-colonial, pre-colonial, and we'll know that the women are the ones that went town to town. The women ran shit. You know, that was a thing. But I digress. I'm sorry, I guess I was supposed to keep going. So at the end of the day, I don't want the people to think that this is something that's going from one side to the other. I'm about embracing both halves and having both halves intact. Like, where do we go if we don't go from there, from that aspect? Because we did the other side for so long. Mm-hmm. But not to cut you off, I was already, I mean, not to go any further, I was already about to stop, but I realized you had walked away. So, pardon me, but I need to step to the inside for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
No. I got the last question. I'm start the last question before I go.
Go ahead.
What is what is demonic martial law? Demonic martial law. What is that?
Black Lives Matter. So we're gonna end this, and I'm gonna just end this right here. So when you look at these particular protests, these particular revolts, and things of that nature, it's more of a political ploy. So demonic to me is always democratic. I always get that inclination just dealing with the Joe Biden energy, the crime bill energy of 1994. I don't really just like not reference that particular, like I don't overlook that. That's really strong to me in my understanding of just like I experienced a lot of turmoil behind that actual bill. That bill affected so many lives and will continue to affect lives. So when you reference this kind of like prison like state that we in and all of these particular things that are happening, people just don't know. And so since they don't know, they'll dive head first because they feel as though they do know. But the reality is these particular programs are really trying to usher us into China. And you know, they're trying to turn us into working bees. They're trying to do this class system real smart, you know. And what we need to begin to do is begin to look at this as a time to connect, a time to actually deal with this community aspect. And of course, you don't want to. Of course, this is the shit that you don't want. You want to be by yourself. You want to stay isolated in your apartment or in your room or in your house, and you just want everything to come like you want. You want your D appointments to come on schedule. You want your Tinder account to be popping. You know, all of these particular things and all of these particular devices, whether it's Tinder, Instagram, it just promotes isolation. You know, now we get our food off Instagram. You know, you get your D appointments off of Instagram, all of these particular things, when the reality is that we exist outside of this technology. And if we're not learning the actual intelligence that nature provides, then we're just going to be limited. So the martial law might not be people walking up and down the streets with guns and battering rams and things of that nature, because they don't have to. We already in the house already. We already afraid to, you know, do these particular things. You know, everybody going to be taught from home. You know, nobody is doing nothing. You know, they got all of the black, I mean, all the black, but all the NBA players, they in jail right now, calling it basketball. Okay. So, it's just a real and interesting time of lockdown, and it's psychological lockdown. You know, within our constitution, within our whole system setup, there are no leaders, but somehow we've just acquiesced to authority in the realms of in the guise of health. But when we do the deeper research, they don't give a shit about health. They only give a fuck about compliance and giving you, you know, a Hegelian dialect to kind of go back and forth over. But what I'm trying to say, and hopefully what Raj's trying to say, is outside of this Hegelian dialect is a deeper, more profound conversation that's only found in community. So if you're not ready for that, just say you're not ready for that. And if you are ready for that, deal with the psychological tools that you need to be your best self, because you want to come into a situation where you're offering something. You don't want to come into a situation where you pulling from shit, because we still learning how to be puppet masters ourselves. So I'm gonna just end it right there, and Ra, you can take us home.
No, I don't want to do any rambling. I think Ashe is apropos. I think that uh, you have tied it all in together real nice and neatly again for the folk. I tried to rattle your cage. I couldn't. I did it unsuccessfully. I wasn't successful. But
Maybe
other than
next
that,
episode,
other than that, other than that,
you'll get me tightened up.
other than that, I'm very pleased with your answers, your explanations, your connections, your correlations. Like I think this is one of those pieces of meat that the people can digest. So I'm appreciative of it, and Sacred Serpent Media is appreciative of it. Mama Mystic is appreciative of it. Like we all here, like we all love you. So that's what it is.
All right, man. Anything? Any closing words? We need to come out with like a
No.
dope closing catchphrase or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, we could do that in the lab.
We
Maybe
don't
when
got.
we get off this live, we can do that. You know what I'm saying? But
All right, man.
not
So
right now. I don't like being on TV too long.
Yeah, I'm gonna end this broadcast, and I'll catch up with you on the flip side. Peace to the family.
Peace.
Hold on, before I end this live, to the young lady who's watching this live, puffing Newports back to back, saying, "Hey, I gotta have him. Can you give her your Instagram, my good brother?"
These are the best ones. They're the real
Woo, that was real disrespectful.
I don't know.
Out of love, it was a disrespectful love.
That was like my shit is Dark Serpent, all small case _ Dark _ Serpent 17. That's my shit.
Dark Serpent _17 on Instagram.
Dark _ Serpent 17.
Dark _ Serpent 17 on Instagram. Young lady, that message was for you. I am the hood mystic. This is Dark Serpent 1724.
So cut that bullshit out.